I first learned to muscle up on rings over 30 years ago when I was in my mid-20s. It came pretty easily to me, and I've always been able to do them pretty easily ever since I learned them. Back then I could do sets of 6 or 7, but I haven't practiced them in like the last couple of decades. But about 3 years ago, I did some for my first video about the slow muscle up on a bar. I was just demonstrating them, not trying to do as many as I could. Anyway, judging from how easy they look, I'd guess that at that time I could have probably done 6 reps. In around 2010, I figured out that it was possible to do a similar kind of muscle up on a bar. It's harder because it's a little more awkward. The bar's in the way and you have to somehow get your body around it. I discovered early on that it was way easier for me if I adjusted my grip by hopping my hands into a higher false grip on the way up. I eventually got strong enough at it that I could do 1 with no grip adjustment. But as you can see, it was very hard for me. I never could do more than 1. I think the reason is that I never specifically worked the false grip. My wrists weren't flexible enough to get my hands far enough around the bar starting from a dead hang. But anyway, here's the best set I ever got on video with the grip adjust. I did 4 reps here, but I wasn't specifically trying to max out. It looks to me like I could have done 1 more. So I'm gonna say that at age 54, I was capable of doing 5 reps with the grip adjust. And along the way, I started thinking about a fast muscle up. I had seen it done, so I knew it was possible, but I didn't know how to do it or how to train for it. This was before there were a million tutorials online. Whenever I tried it, I ended up just doing a faster version of my slow muscle up with a grip adjust. Or, if I really forced myself not to do that, it just wouldn't work. Anyway, I finally figured out that the technique of the fast muscle up is completely different, and that the best way to approach it, unless you're bizarrely strong, is to train with bands. So I trained with bands, just using standard progressions. The only thing I did differently from most people was that I started the move from the top of the bar. Doing that puts you into a perfect position to start the next muscle up. Anyway, when I got to the point where I could do 10 reps with my thinnest band, I just tried it with no band. I started from the top of the bar and did it just like I always did, and it worked on the first try. You can see that this came as a bit of a surprise, and I even got a 2nd rep. But I wasn't completely happy with those. I felt like they were legitimate muscle ups. I didn't do any kipping per se, but I did have to bend my knees to help me get over the bar. So I kept working on them until I could do them more or less strictly. Here's the best set I ever got. I pretty much got the first 2 with my legs straight, and then bent my knees a bit on the 3rd one. One caveat though, I always had to start from the top of the bar. If I started from below the bar, like this, I always ended up doing a kipping muscle up on the first one. Although I could then do a legitimate one on the 2nd rep. I just couldn't figure out how to do a good one if I started below the bar. And, being completely honest, I couldn't even come close to doing a truly strict fast muscle up, i.e. starting from a dead hang. Anyway, I'm claiming that I could do 3 reps of what most people would call fast muscle ups. That was also when I was 54. I pretty much hit a lifetime strength peak at around that time. Unfortunately, things quickly went downhill right after that. Sometime during all of this, I also discovered that I could still do a gymnastics kip, which I learned almost 40 years ago. And I discovered that a kipping muscle up is really, really easy compared to a pure strength muscle up. I'm pretty sure that if I had worked those just a little bit, I could have easily done sets of 10. I also made a few attempts at a CrossFit style muscle up. Those are also kipping muscle ups, although the technique is different. It's basically a pure technique move. Like the gymnastics kip, if you're really good at the technique, it requires almost no strength at all. I only tried it a few times, so my technique was crappy, but I could kinda sorta do it. So I can't claim that I was the absolute master of the muscle up, but I think that I can honestly say that I could do both slow and fast muscle ups with a couple of variations of each one. And I'll tell you one thing, if I had to climb out of a burning building or something, between false grip slow muscle up and kipping / fast muscle up techniques, I think I could pull myself on top of anything that I could grab with my hands, one way or another. And that's the important thing, right? Yeah, that's why we train this stuff, so that we'll be safer. Anyway, whatever your reason for training the muscle up, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.